Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, General Clerk, thank you folks for being with us tonight. Appreciate you coming out and supporting local government. Actually several things. It's going to be a busy couple minutes here for me. First off, I received a letter from Mark Warner today that he was pleased to extend his warmest congratulations to address to me and the employees of the city upon receiving the 2023 Innovation Award in Working with Youth category at the Virginia Municipal League. And I think this says a lot that July 21st, 22 was a major turning point in the history of the Allegheny Highlands, as it marked the merger of the Covington City Schools and the Allegheny County Public Schools. And the success of this merger serves as a strong example to communities across the Commonwealth. So very pleased that Mr. Warner acknowledged the community with our VML award this past fall. Next on my list is, as you all have followed in our public announcement here, the Wall That Heals is going to be coming to Covington at the Jackson River Sport Complex in October. We are in need of volunteers. We're probably in need of a little bit of money. So for all you folks out there, please, I'll give you the name of Sean Wright with the VFW. The recreation staff is very involved with this, as is the chamber and Josh Taylor. So anyone that would love to volunteer for the Wall That Heals, which is important to our veterans, important to our community, and as we mentioned, important to the Mid-Atlantic region because we're the only host close by. So we look forward to working with the VFW and entertaining the Wall That Heals here in Covington, Virginia. Next, I'd like to recognize the Covington Fire Department 122nd Annual Banquet. We are so grateful for those folks, the men and women that so graciously serve our community, give up time from their families to do what they do in saving property and lives and things like that in Covington and Allegheny Highlands. And again, a beck and call out to the community. If you got time on your hands and you want to be a public servant, then please don't hesitate to contact our fire department and our first aid and EMS group, because we could always use helping hands along that way. And again, I can't say enough. Council and myself was privileged to be at the dinner Saturday night, and they do a tremendous job. And I'll be remiss if I didn't shout out the ladies from the Moose for the delicious meal that they fixed. So just a wonderful evening of fellowship and being together, and very, very good. Another shout out to Terry McClung. Terry is our small business coordinator here in the city of Covington, and she has worked herself tirelessly over the last several months in pushing and gaining small business opportunities. We kicked off the gauntlet in Covington, Virginia last night. Terry was instrumental in working with the Department of Housing and Community Development and getting a $50,000 grant that has gone towards the gauntlet, working with the advancement program. Mayor and I were privileged to be able to welcome all the folks last night, and it was a wonderful group of people. A lot of good things were said about Covington from folks that were visiting with us from outside. They loved our downtown, our Main Street. We did let them know that those were not Christmas decorations still hanging. They were winter decorations, so I didn't want nobody poking at us about our lights downtown. But just a wonderful evening with all those people. And Terry has been involved in a lot of projects here over the last several months, and some of them are finally coming to reality, and I'll expand on that in a little bit. But again, a shout out to Terry and all her hard work. Young lady by the name of Cheyenne Marcus. I don't know how many folks have been following her in the community. She's been out with her paint brushes and doing some wonderful work. The Monroe Street wall is in its final phases of being colored up. I had a citizen comment to me, and I smiled because I thought the same thing when we got started, that Mr. Zimmerman is certainly smiling down on us, because he made comments about that wall a lot of times to us. And So it's colored up, and Cheyenne has received all kinds of accolades for her hard work. She's a very, very talented young lady, and I'm so pleased at our relationship. And we met several months back, late summer, whatnot, and I invited her to my office, and we sat down and we chatted, and she came back to me with some concepts of some things she'd like to do, and Alan really liked them, and we will continue coloring up Covington a little bit as we move on. High school sports kicked off this week. Lance and I were talking about our girls fast pitch softball team. We hosted the boys baseball at Casey Field yesterday. We have soccer tonight at the Jackson River Sport Complex. The Allegheny hosted the girls varsity yesterday, and then the JVs traveled down to Stanton. But from my understanding, with all of our spring sports, we're off to a good start. The kids are working well together, and we look forward to a strong spring, and don't want to put any pressure on our girls, but I think Lance and I are in agreement. We got a pretty decent girls varsity fast pitch team, so excited about that. And of course, with that being said, high school sports, the grass is greening up, the robins are here, and the daffodils, if you hadn't had a chance to get around Covington, are blooming, and we're looking quite nice, I must say. Now let me go to our paving schedule. In front of you, I shared with you folks what our paving schedule is for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. With that being said, Princeton Drive, and all of these that I'm going to mention to you right now are areas where Columbia Gas has been. Princeton Drive, South Allegheny, up East Pine to the cul-de-sac, East Dewey to South Schley to the dead end, South Mercer to East Pine to East Rose, South Schley to East Cherry, South Allegheny to Cherry to the dirt road, South Fairlawn, and East Scotland. We have budgeted for paving this year, fiscal year, $795,000. That's within nickels of what we did last year with about $800,000 in paving in our community. Those roads that I mentioned to you there come to $591,334.40. In addition to those roads on schedule to be paved, we have the Mid-City Mall parking lot. It is in dire need of improvements. We want folks to feel comfortable about coming to downtown and parking, so that is on our list. The mall parking lot is $137,248. We have a grand total of committed paving right now at $728,582. That subtracted from our budget leaves $66,417.60. Below, you will see some other streets that were put out to bid with the cost involved in those. If council deems, okay, let's do a few more, we would need a little bit of fund balance contribution to pull that off. We could address that in April. If not, I will take the 66 and look at what we can do with a couple of these streets listed here. One of which, we know that there's an issue on the two-lane transition around Hardee's where the road has been raised up, and folks have concern particularly with motorcycles and bikes. That is estimated at $56,909. So that's our paving schedule. Jackson Street, we got a bid on it. We hope to be able to move Jackson Street to our 2024-2025. That comes in at $359,815. So that, in addition to the ones we're not going to be able to do, BB and I will work together to get some funds to present to you for paving in our 24-25 budget. But this is what you see. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me. If you'd like to add a couple more, fine, just let us know, and we'll certainly work that in with our April council meetings. Sidewalk work, Last year, we invested a little over $100,000 in sidewalk work here in the community. It is our intention to do again close to the same as that. One thing I need to call our citizens' attention to on the sidewalks is, per our code, you are responsible for that sidewalk that's out in front of your house, everything from snow removal to weed whacking and those kinds of things. If the sidewalk becomes a safety issue, the city will address that portion of your sidewalk. We have right now right at about $100,000 planned for sidewalk work. It's scattered across the community with some broken and raised and just areas that are in much need. We get it. We know we got sidewalk work to do all over the community. I do have a church right now that is volunteering to clean some grass off of brick sidewalks. We're much appreciative to those folks and their efforts cleaning off some of our brick sidewalks. I will call your attention to the fact that our schedule for this year is also based upon Columbia Gas. We have a very good relationship with Columbia Gas. They are in the process of upgrading. So for those that say, why don't you pave Lexington? Why don't you pave Marion? Why don't you pave Craig? Why don't you do a side street here in downtown? Columbia Gas is going to be us there, and Allen is against paving and Columbia Gas falling behind it. Columbia Gas will also be on Pitchers Ridge Road very soon and Jackson Street very soon. So we just are fortunate to have a wonderful relationship with those folks. They sat down with myself and some public works employees a couple weeks ago, and we worked out our game plan for paving this upcoming season. So again, appreciate working with them, appreciate the monies to move forward with paving this coming spring. Now, a couple other things I'd like to just kind of address. We have a lot of projects going on. In your packet, you see where we're asking to be able to move around a little bit of money that was dedicated to the Department of Transportation for the Rayon Bridge project. City Council, going back several years ago, we agreed to put X amount of dollars each year in the budget to cover the engineering cost of that bridge. VDOT has requested their funds, and fortunately they did not request all those funds, and we would like to be able to take those remaining funds and move it into our operations and cover things that we have going on in Covington right now. We also are asking for a couple extra dollars out of the fund balance. Our fund balance is in wonderful shape. If it's not used, it will certainly be returned. BB and I will be sitting on that like those two eagles you see right now sitting on them eggs out in California. So we'll take good care of those monies, but unfortunately we have a $135,000 backhoe en route to Covington, Virginia. We did not plan on a backhoe going down in this fiscal year, so we have a $135,000 backhoe to purchase. We were not aware, and we didn't plan to upgrade the safety alarms at Firehouse 1 and Firehouse 2. That's imperative. We are on top of that. Our bids are in, and we will be addressing both of those firehouse stations over the next coming months. We're also working with the Chamber of Commerce and the town of Clifton Forge. They have their share, but we are involved in a wayfinding sign project that the Chamber has took on, which makes this phase 3 of wayfinding signage in the Allegheny Highlands. So we have X amount of dollars on behalf of the city to put towards that. So with all that being said, we just have a tremendous amount of projects going on, and we want to be comfortable knowing that we're going to be able to get out of this fiscal year without having to come back on bended knee June the 29th for some funding. So with that being said, some other highlights. We had an announcement Terry has been working diligently on with the local investor at the former Kroger's building called Mountain Rush. Mountain Rush has the potential to entertain a lot of folks, young and old, for years to come. We are excited about that. We support the concept and the drive to make that happen. It's a wonderful complement to the City of Covington's Parks and Recreation outdoor things that we offer, with this now being an indoor recreation activity. And I will say Terry has worked diligently on this. There is an investor. We may be looking at some additional investors, but there's a building that has sat over there for a long time. And some of the things that people don't quite understand, you know, there's that Kruger building, why can't we do this, why can't we do that? Well, there are covenants involved in real estate. And right adjacent to that Kroger building sits a grocery store and a drugstore that may be owned by the same people, and the last thing that they want to do is compete against each other. So the fit with Mountain Rush and these indoor recreation activities has a very good fit. And I took the time last night to ask the question to a group of citizens: how many in here perhaps have driven to Roanoke to do the trampoline park and all those kind of things? There, we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4. So now all you got to do is drive 5 minutes and you're there. So it's something that, as we have just proven with these hands, that's a 60-mile radius that we're going to recreate. Within a 60-mile radius, we would anticipate folks from West Virginia and Botetourt and Bath County, and within a 60-mile radius coming to Covington to enjoy indoor recreation, birthday parties, all those kinds of things. And while they're here, we would certainly hope they would stop at Subway and Kentucky Fried Chicken and have a meal and make a contribution to our meals tax. The Casey Field Fieldhouse, that project, as you're starting to see equipment being deployed, we hope to stick a shovel in the ground just about any day now. Mr. Haynes asked a very good question about the location. The location of the new field house is as far out of floodplain range as we could get. It will also be raised up a little bit, and then when the Cougars, they will enter in from, let's say, the Kentucky Fried Chicken side into the field house. They'll get dressed, then we'll start playing Enter Sandman, and they'll come running out onto the field as we have in the past years. So, and everybody needs to start jumping when that happens. But anyway, so anyway, and I appreciate your question about our field house. Mr. Hunter asked about the salt shed. The actual structure is complete. We are working on the lights inside it now. With the robins and the daffodils, we may be out of winter's way. At least our hunters are hoping so, because we're afraid that the acorn trees are going to bud and get froze at the end of the month, and then that'll be a story we'll all get to talk about at deer season. But we do have some trees coming, some evergreens to dot that hillside to help camouflage that big building up there. Hawthorne Bridge on its way for repairs through the Department of Transportation. Rayon, you see people in and out over there just about every day doing surveying and all kinds of wonderful things. So 2026 cannot get here fast enough for that. Wiley's Garden Center and Hamilton Hydroponics at the former Nettleton property on Lexington Avenue. We are moving in a very good direction there. From the city's end of things, our public portion is wrapping up with a little bit more grading of some stone and things of that nature. The private portion of that, we're busy putting the covers on one of the greenhouses today. So we hope within the next week or so to have flowers in greenhouses, seeds anyway, and begin raising plants, and look forward to Wiley's Garden Center opening on the right-hand side of the former Nettleton property. We still have yet to address the sewer. That's on our docket. I'll be meeting with our engineering firm. It's already been surveyed. We just need to get it out for bid. Fortunately, we have addressed the need for a sewer system down through there that never was in place back in the development of Covington, Virginia. So we're on top of that with the Wiley Garden Center and the Hamilton Hydroponics. 410 on Main, I cannot say enough about the relationship with the investors. From the very beginning, when we had transition in management here in the city, couple of members of the Covington staff visited one of the investors, and we had a very positive meeting and a wonderful handshake, and we have moved forward ever since. With that, there has been an additional investor involved, and the relationship with those folks and Alan Dressler, David Bryant, and other staff cannot be better. We have very good faith in one another, and we are so looking forward to the development of 410 and what it perhaps, in my eyes, can become an anchor in downtown Covington with activities. We have seen that once one restaurant becomes successful, then another, and we've been doing well on our main street, and we're starting to develop a little bit of a problem down there because it's hard to find a place to park, and that's a good problem to have. And wrapping up, I want to say, and I've given something similar to this to city councils in past as an interim manager. As a matter of fact, I believe BB was on the council back in those days. And I hope your citizens understand, we as the city of Covington, we are a service business. We're in the business of serving our public, and in good business aspects, what goes out must come back in or the business fails. We are in good shape with what has been going out and coming back in, thanks in tune to our city council addressing back some years ago that percentage of fund balance to meet. We're in good shape. Kudos to David Bryant and his staff managing our funds through the Department of Finance. But again, what goes out needs to come back in. We are pushing for business here in our community. We're pushing to accomplish things like 410 and Wiley's Garden Center and Mountain Rush. Because without those folks and their investment in our community, without that tax revenue, that money then unfortunately falls back on us, the citizens. I understand, just like you do, the cost of bread, the cost of gasoline, and all those things. Today, as a city of the second class, we own our water treatment plant, our wastewater plant, and our landfill. The cost of your utility bill is little to nothing to compare to other localities and what it could be in Covington, Virginia. Nowhere does anyone get an $88 for all three services. Nowhere. The cost of that service is going up, okay? For example, the chemicals at the water treatment plant going up. The electricity to make water going up. And we tend to forget about the people that are there that are employees of the city of Covington. They're going up. So we are maintaining things to the best we can, and we're trying on the flip side to create businesses in Covington and the Allegheny Highlands, the city of Covington and Allegheny County, thanks to the city council and some former managers. We have a pad site down in Lowmore right now that is a huge investment for both localities and the state of Virginia to create more jobs. And with that's going to come another big problem is housing. And we recognize housing is a challenge here in Covington and throughout the state of Virginia. And so again, we recognize those things. We're not deaf and blind to what is going on around us. So we work hard each and every day, our staff and folks here at City Hall, to accomplish these things. And but I just want you folks to know that we are a service, in my mind, we are a service industry. Our board of directors, CEO, departments, that's how we operate. And we try to keep our costs and maintaining this business as best we can. And we need other things to come in to help support that, whether it's meals tax, real estate revenues, and those kinds of things to keep moving forward. Because again, water, sewer, refuge, police, fire, public safety, those things we have to provide. If we had to start picking and choosing things that we don't want to provide, I would be remiss and hate to tell you that recreation would probably have to be one of the first, because it's not a mandatory service in a community. We have pretty good recreation in Covington, Virginia. So with that being said, I'll get down off of my box for that and say, gentlemen, look forward to seeing everyone Saturday night at the Allegheny Highlands Chamber of Commerce dinner and fellowship and breaking bread together. And with that.